in Cow Creek, and Carl Junction comes out to celebrate the town's first ever farmers market. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, Kansas health officials call for a stream advisory after detecting elevated levels of E. coli. Plus, authorities investigate a massive littering violation in Newton County, and Carl Junction cuts the ribbon on its first ever farmers market.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas Department of Health and Environment issues a stream advisory for Cow Creek due to elevated levels of E. coli contamination. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Anthony Saviello joins us live from the Pittsburgh Water Treatment Plant with the latest on the advisory and what's being done.
Yeah, Dow, that's exactly right. We're standing right outside the Pittsburgh Water Treatment Facility. Today, the KDHE has issued a stream advisory for Cow Creek, and now Cow Creek runs just adjacent to the water treatment facility, and that advisory comes as the KDHE discovered levels of E. coli in Cow Creek. They attribute that to an underground pipe failure at the wastewater treatment facility here in Pittsburgh. Now on Sunday, the city of Pittsburgh says it discovered that pipe failure. On Monday, they began repairing that pipe failure. However, whatever repairs are supposed to be going on, there's none currently taking place. We've been out here for the past 2 hours or so now and haven't really seen any construction or any fixing going on. So the water treatment facility and the city have also not said whether the issue has been resolved. So we're unaware of when that will be complete and or whether or not it's already resolved. So the KDHE issued their advisory today because of that E. coli bacteria and other contaminants into Cow Creek. It's important to note that if you live around these areas that we're about to mention, that you should not go into the creeks. You should not have your animals or your children near them. So let's take a look at those affected areas. Those areas include Cow Creek, right next to the water treatment facility here in Pittsburgh. That Cow Creek flows all the way down into Spring River, and Spring River then flows all the way down towards Empire Lake near Riverton. All these areas are somewhat affected by this E. coli contamination. If you live anywhere near these streams, rivers, or even Empire Lake, you're encouraged not to go near or participate in any activities near these waterways until the KDHE rescinds the advisory once they have deemed contact with these areas to be safe. Again, we have received no information on whether or not the pipe here at the Pittsburgh Water Treatment Facility has been fixed or what other action is being taken to prevent further contamination into these waterways. That's all the information that we have right now. Of course, we'll update this story more as we learn more information, but Dow, we're coming back to you.
All right, certainly we'll look forward to those updates. Anthony Saviello live in Pittsburgh. Thanks, Anthony. Newton County authorities try to track down the source of trash that inconvenienced several drivers in the county this morning. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on the litter dump investigation.
There was a lot of trash in the road and that there was a big traffic hazard there and some issues with the morning traffic.
If you were driving down Iris Road between I-49 and Hammer Road in Newton County, you may have noticed a massive amount of trash blocking the roadway.
Eastbound lane was almost completely blocked with trash, large amount of trash there, and the westbound lane was travelable.
This caused a hiccup in many people's morning commute.
It caused some problems with people going to work, early morning traffic, that kind of thing. The deputies were out just directing traffic, getting the school buses through and that.
Now the chief deputy says they're in the process of trying to figure out the culprit of this massive littering violation. The sheriff's office initially thought a local waste management truck could be the culprit, but based on GPS tracking, it wasn't them.
Just by the amount of trash that was there was probably a garbage truck. We don't know what else it would be to drop that much trash there. And it very well could have been accidental or something, but we just wanted to look into it.
Accident or not, someone definitely needs to clean up their act. Reporting in Newton County, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
That trash spill is now cleaned up and no longer a road hazard. Authorities in Montgomery County, Kansas have charged a Coffeyville man with attempted murder. They've charged this man, Norman Starr. In addition to attempted first-degree murder, the Montgomery County attorney has also filed charges of aggravated battery, criminal threat, and criminal discharge of a firearm in an occupied dwelling. They haven't yet released many details about the alleged crime, but court documents allege Starr fired a gun multiple times toward the victim, a woman, and toward a neighboring property on Tuesday morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures are quickly dropping down into the lower 60s. We're going to get to lower 60s, upper 50s. We still have overcast skies. We might see a couple of isolated showers too as well in the overnights. So river floodings, we do have this flood warning, Osage River until Sunday afternoon. So that's going to be sticking around for the weekend. And we do have additional rain chances that could extend that warning even more. Now you can see Wichita all the way down to Oklahoma City and just to the east of it, severe threat. We are not going to expect to see any severe threat in our area, but some of these storms and showers you can see getting a little bit closer, going to be pushing into our western counties, but really breaking apart as they continue to move through the area. So you can see how those storms start off strong, and by the time they make it down to Oklahoma, very weak, maybe a couple isolated showers, maybe a couple of isolated thunderstorms, but limited severe threat. And then we're back to having a mostly sunny day on Friday, but we do have more storms in the forecast. I'll have those details coming up.
See you soon. Look at that. Carl Junction community members cut the ribbon on the newest farmers market in the 4 states, right next to the Briar Brook Golf Course. This is the first time CJ has ever hosted its own market. About a dozen local vendors set up shop today with lots of options: strawberries, soaps, flowers, and even honey.
So this is our first farmers market, so we're really excited to be here and be a part of this, but we have done other like pop-up events and festivals and things like that. So we are a local beekeeping company. We sell honey and like bee related products. We have flavored honeys, we have regular honey, that kind of stuff.
The Carl Junction Farmers Market is open Thursday evenings through October. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce hosts an inaugural men's leadership breakfast at the YMCA Youth Activity Center in Carthage. The event dished out more than just a meal. It highlighted conversations about mentorship, education, and networking. Organizers say the event was intended to promote real talks among like-minded men, all driven by a shared goal of making a lasting impact in their community. If you missed this event and you'd like to attend, we should know leaders say they do plan to have more of these meetings throughout the year. Joplin High School's Constitution team took first place at the state competition, and now they've been recognized in a big way because of it. The president of the Missouri Bar Association, Shelley Dreyer, visited the school to congratulate the students in person.
It's important that all Americans have a civic education and understand the basic principles of the Constitution, because that is the basis of our democracy. To see these students having such a wealth of knowledge about the Constitution is so refreshing.
She also made it clear during her visit that the spotlight should be on the students and their incredible achievement. Couldn't agree more. A new sculpture is going to soon call Southwest Missouri home as plans for Route 66 anniversary celebrations continue to rev up around the area. That story's coming up. But up first, DMV lines grow as the Real ID deadline nears. What you need to know if you plan to fly after May 7th. Scammers stole a record $16.6 billion last year. That's according to the FBI's annual Internet Crime Report. Most of those losses were due to fraud, though ransomware reports also rose 9%. People over 60 years old filed the most complaints, nearly 150,000, and reported the most losses at $4.8 billion. We're less than 2 weeks away until the federal Real ID enforcement. That happens on May 7th. As Reagan DeTrolio reports, lines of Missouri DMV offices are getting longer by the day.
We wanted to get it before there was a major rush and long lines getting it.
Michael Bottoms says he got his Real ID about a year ago because he knew lines would get long at the DMV with everyone waiting to make the change.
I had to come back like 3 times, so if you do come to get your Real ID, make sure you have everything.
The Missouri Department of Revenue Director Trish Vincent says only certain documents will be accepted to get a Real ID.
Your birth certificate, your couple of bills are your voter ID that shows that your residence and where you live, You also, need to make sure that you have your social security number. And for women that are married, we change our names, right? So you would have to have a certified marriage certificate. Now it has to be certified, not just a copy.
The reason behind the Real ID requirement is to prevent fraud and identity theft, and it's been in the works for a long time. The Real ID Act was passed by the U.S. Congress in 2005 after the 9/11 Commission recommended the federal government set new standards for the issuance of identification to achieve enhanced security. You will need a Real ID to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. You'll also need it to enter nuclear power plants. If you're planning to fly and don't have a Real ID, the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, wrote in a statement to KY3, after May 7th, passengers who present a state-issued identification that is not Real ID compliant and who do not have another acceptable alternative like a passport can expect to face delays, additional screening, and the possibility of not being permitted into the security checkpoint. Keep in mind, the temporary paper license you get at the DMV will not be accepted to board domestic flights.
If you want to get your Real ID, do it now, because the lines are just going to get longer as it gets closer to the deadline.
Now, keep in mind, it can take about 7 to 10 business days to get your official Real ID in the mail. A must-stop photo op is coming for Route 66 fans. Springfield city leaders say artists are in the process of designing a major sculpture to honor the Mother Road. It's going to be placed near the Rail Haven Motel on the original route. Funded by the state legislature to the tune of $1 million, the monument will commemorate Route 66's conception in Springfield back in 1926.
We will be sharing some ideas of what that looks like to the public, getting some input and certainly some input from City Council, but it will be very prominent and hopefully very beautiful as a marker for the birthplace of Route 66.
Springfield was just named the host city for America's Route 66 Centennial Celebration. Events across the country are going to kick off with a concert at the Shrine Mosque on April 30th of 2026. Mark your calendars. A little bit later, some kids in Miami, Oklahoma get their hands dirty and have some fun learning about dish gardens.
Well, we've had a few isolated showers across the area today. We're going to continue that threat over the rest of the weekend. You can see it taking a look outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Down in Seneca, Missouri, got a few showers earlier today, but most of the rain has moved off to our east. You can see out in central Kansas, western Oklahoma, and even in parts of Texas, still seeing a couple of those isolated storms popping up. Those are going to continue to push into our area tonight into early tomorrow morning, but not seeing a big threat that you can see. Still getting some isolated storms early in the morning, clearing out. We are going to have partly to mostly cloudy skies in the morning. We have mostly sunny skies later in the afternoon, and temperatures are getting up to the mid to lower 70s. Now tonight we have that low risk for severe storms just clipping our western counties, and that's just for those isolated storms. They've had some tornadoes, severe weather, severe thunderstorm warnings on there as well as they push in, but they really fall apart. And then tomorrow and Saturday we do have scattered storm chances, isolated storm chances, but not a widespread rain chance and also not a severe threat there either. So this is by Friday morning. Those strong storms kind of fall apart once they make it into southeastern Kansas and even into northeastern Oklahoma. They're going to continue to push off, and again we might see a couple of these pop-up isolated showers, maybe even isolated thunderstorms. This is about 6:30, 7 a.m. so when you're starting your morning, but mostly it's going to be pretty sunny during the day. Could still see a couple of those isolated showers. That's what we're really expecting over the next weekend, are these pop-up chances of storms in addition to some of our scattered storm chances. So this is Saturday afternoon now. We see a couple of these storms pushing into our western counties, moving some stronger storms right when they start. But again, we don't have a severe threat for this, not even a low risk. And you can see how they fall apart as they move in. Could see that little wind gust front. Could see some stronger winds with this, but mostly it's just going to be these scattered thunderstorms, loud but not severe. Those continue pretty much through Sunday, isolated storms popping up. And again, not a big threat until we get into Monday. That's when we're going to see our next chance for severe weather. Now Saturday is going to be a little bit cooler, upper 60s, slightly below average, but still pretty on par for where we should be this time of year. We've got a cold front coming through Friday that's dropping those temperatures on Saturday, but winds shift back out of the south, so we get these southerly winds bringing in warmer temperatures on Sunday, and even into Monday we're going to be in the 80s again. But like I said, we've got that severe threat, so winds really pick up during the day on Monday. Temperatures warm up, so we've got warm air, a lot of moisture there, so some storms could be popping up late Monday night into Tuesday, even into Tuesday afternoon. So that's going to be where we see our next chance for severe weather. But you see we've got pop-up thunderstorm chances, isolated storm chances all the way through next Thursday. Now we'll have a couple of warm days and a couple of cooler days in the upper 60s, but for the most part, temperatures are seasonable for this time of year. And you know, I love not seeing a severe threat, especially not over multiple days. Just these isolated storm chances makes it feel just like spring.
You won't find any disagreement on that point for sure. Lindsay, thanks. Still ahead, Carl Junction Baseball tries to win its 4th game in a row, and Riverton and Girard High School softball play a doubleheader. John Dales has those stories and more. It's coming up next in sports.
Shopping local.
Carl Junction High School baseball is 13-6 so far this season, and the Bulldogs have a home game this afternoon. They're riding a 3-game winning streak. Hillcrest pays a visit to Carl Junction today. The Bulldogs are going for their 4th consecutive victory. Bottom of the first inning, Cooper Vedix gets all of this pitch. After a couple of bounces, that one goes all the way to the wall in left center. He's got a stand-up double. Later in the frame, Brody Pant turns on one and rips it into left field. Vedix hustles around third, and with the headfirst slide, he scores the first run of the game. Bulldogs jump out to a 2-0 lead in the first. Now in the second, one out, couple runners on for Hillcrest, but this one hopper to short turns into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. Then in the third, CJ starting pitcher Chase Smith freezes the batter for his first strikeout of the contest. Carl Junction keeps Hillcrest's bats quiet. Bulldogs win it 4-1 for their 4th in a row. Meanwhile, in Kansas, we've got a CNC softball doubleheader between Riverton and Girard. 4th inning, Trojans up 9-5. Rams with 2 runners on. Chloe Becca grounds it to third. Girard can't make the play. Run comes home to score. Then Ava Coleman tries to score all the way from second. She's called safe because of obstruction. It's now 9-7. 5th inning, Rams cut the lead to just 1 with a runner on second. Kinley King ties it up with a double into left. She gets thrown out trying for a triple, but we go to the 6th, tied at 10. In the 7th, Trojans with 2 runners on, and Autumn Avery slaps a single to left. Addison Brunk collides with the catcher here at the plate, but she's safe, and Girard takes an 11-10 lead. Then, bottom of the inning, Lindsey Bryant makes a nice catch here at second for the final out. Trojans take game 1, 11-10. Rams hoping to bounce back in game 2. We start in the second inning. They're down by 2, but Marley North lines this one into the gap. That gets down, and she's got herself a double. Next batter, Roxanne Felix. She grounds it sharply towards third. Breely Merrill Fields throws over to first in time to get the out. Rams fail to score there. 3rd inning now, Trojans with runners on second and third and 1 out, and Maddie Kester flies it deep enough to bring the runner home on a sac fly. Girard leads 3-0. Next batter is Erica Boatman, and she lines a single into left field. It's now 4-0. Trojans in front, but on the mound, Felix settles in. She forces a fly ball to center and gets the final out of the inning, and the Rams rally for 6 runs while holding the Trojans scoreless. They win at 6-4. Over to the NBA playoffs, the Thunder play Game 3 of their best-of-7 series against the Grizzlies tonight in Memphis. OKC has a 2-0 series lead, but the script has been flipped tonight. All Grizzlies in this one. At halftime, Memphis holds a commanding 26-point lead. It's 77-51. And the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft is underway. Kansas City Chiefs have the number 31 overall pick. We don't know yet who they're going to be choosing as we come on the air. The Chiefs, they're next up. They are about to make the 31st pick. So Maybe when we come back after the break, we'll know who they take. Draft night, especially night one, it's long. It wears you out if you've been watching since
Absolutely.
7. The Chiefs' 31st pick, you like to be picking at the end of the draft, though.
The Chiefs have a strategy going into any draft in recent years, but they don't have any glaring holes. Obviously, they have some weaknesses, but they could play with the team they have, so they have some options here. We'll see who they take off the board. We'll be right back.
Ashley is bringing you in.
If you're looking for events in the 4 states, but you don't really know where to turn, well, we've got you covered. You can just scan this QR code, go straight to the events page of our website. You can find fun family events in the area anytime, anywhere. There are going to be a lot of them as we move deeper into spring. KOAMnewsnow.com/events. One such event took place at the Miami Public Library, where some aspiring green thumbs got some dirt under their nails today. Experts from the Ottawa County OSU Extension Office gave area kids step-by-step instructions on how to plant and create their own unique dish gardens.
Personally, I like doing these activities. I love being able to teach kids and to watch them come back as 4-H members teaching kids. I think that's when we know we've done our jobs.
That free event was open to aspiring botanists ages 4 to 12. Gardens obviously like a little bit of rain this time of year, and they're going to get some this week.
Oh yeah, we've got extended chances of rain all the way through next Thursday, though limited severe threat until Monday, so we just have these isolated pop-up storm chances through the weekend. Not widespread, and that's a good thing. I know people like to get outside. I know I need to mow my lawn, so.
Yeah, there's only so much that the ground can take anyway until it's saturated. Final sports note.
We've got to wait a few more minutes to find out who the Chiefs' first-round draft pick will be. We just found out over the break that they swap picks with the Eagles in the first round, 31 for 32, and then they also get the 164th overall pick for trading back one spot.
It's interesting to find out the strategy. Maybe someone was trying to jump over into the Chiefs spot to take somebody that the Eagles wanted. We'll find out soon enough. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.